I really don't like how Paula Abdul's SA allegations were done in the complaint, and I'm going to tell you why. But first, we have to get into who Paula Abdul is and what her actual allegations are. Make sure you stay to the very end to learn why I, an attorney, don't really like how this complaint was drafted. Paula Abdul is a singer, dancer, and choreographer in America, known mostly for her choreography with the Jacksons and more specifically Janet Jackson. She also had hit songs like Opposites Attract, Straight Up, and Rush Rush. But if you're a young millennial like me, you probably know her best from being a judge on American Idol and So You Think You Can Dance. This is the era that her SA allegations actually come from against Nigel Lythgoe, a producer for the American Idol and also for So You Think You Can Dance. Let's jump right into talking about the complaint. Paula Abdul decided that she was going to bring her claims under the SA and Cover Up Accountability Act at the very last minute, y'all. This bill allows for victims of SA to bring SA claims in civil court against their perpetrators when the last incident of assault was done after January 2009. Under the California Act, which Paula Abdul's lawsuit is filed under, the last day to bring the claim was December 31st of 2023, but it recently got extended to December 31st of 2026. We're going to talk about a case that was filed under the new 2026 timeframe, so make sure you subscribe if you're interested in hearing about who's being sued next. Paula Abdul actually filed her complaint on December 29th, 2023, which in her mind was right on time because December 31st, 2023 was actually on a Sunday, and I don't know of any courts that are open on Sunday. Paula Abdul's complaint includes claims for SA and battery, harassment, gender violence, and negligence. In order to understand why I don't like the way this complaint was done, you have to understand the allegations that Paula Abdul made. The major claims that Paula Abdul made against Nigel Lythgoe are as follows. First, Paula Abdul made general allegations of bullying and harassment. One of the bullying techniques she cited was that Nigel Lythgoe actually called her a has-been when she was in her interview for American Idol. These comments seem to be absurd to Paula Abdul because, as stated in her complaint, she was the only judge with American fame at the time. She later mentioned in the complaint that she was paid less than her male counterparts. She referenced it as being pennies on a dollar compared to what her male counterpart was making. But despite the rude comments, she decided to take the job. Next, Paula Abdul made her second major claim against Nigel Lythgoe, in which she accused him of entering an elevator while she was in there and basically SAing her by pushing his body up against her, grabbing her genitals in her breast, and trying to kiss her. She did not want this interaction, so she stated that she pushed him off of her, exited the elevator, and then called one of her representatives and told them what happened. Her and her representative decided that she should move past it, and she continued to work on the show American Idol for 8 seasons. This incident occurred allegedly towards the beginning of her tenure on the show. The third allegation that Paula Abdul made against Nigel Lythgoe occurred in or about 2015 when she alleged that Nigel Lythgoe invited her over to his house to have a business meeting. From reading the complaint, there was no indication that Nigel told her another party was going to be there or that there would be other people at the party. It kind of seemed like a meeting between the two of them. She said that after dinner, while she was still at Nigel's house, he basically forced himself onto her while she was sitting on the couch. He climbed on top of her and again tried to kiss her. Like, seriously, if this is all true, what is wrong with this guy? And the last allegation that Paula Abdul made was an incident that didn't necessarily happen to her, but to her personal assistant. She stated that in April of 2015, Lythgoe approached them from behind and groped her assistant, who she is calling April in this complaint. And for the last 2 incidents, including the incident at Nigel's house and the incident with her personal assistant, she was actually working for So You Think You Can Dance, which Nigel still worked for the executive producer companies at that time. So she was still dealing with him. Now, let's talk about why I actually do not like this complaint. In order to have a valid complaint for a lawsuit, you must plead facts sufficient enough to state a claim, and that is exactly what I do not like about this case, because I feel like the lawyers did barely enough to state a claim. First, this complaint does not plead facts sufficient to state a claim, in my opinion, because the allegations against herself do not specify a date or very clear time frame, as opposed to the allegation with her assistant. She knew the exact month and year. The attorneys probably should have done more to try to track down what month and year that her allegations occurred, because once she goes to court, if this goes to trial, I think a jury is going to have a pretty hard time believing her when she doesn't remember what month the incident occurred for herself, but she remembers it for her assistant. And remember, y'all, this is a complaint, so you only need to plead facts sufficient enough to state a claim. But I think that the defense can probably poke some holes in this and maybe get the case dismissed before it even actually goes to trial. The second reason why I don't like this complaint, because they did not really lay any groundwork as to why Paula Abdul would be comfortable going to Nigel's house alone to have dinner after she allegedly suffered this SA attack from him. Why would there not be more people at the party? Why would she agree to that? I definitely understand not wanting to be blacklisted and blackballed and wanting to continue to get jobs, but if this guy is bullying you, harassing you, and SAing you, I think it would be hard for people to believe that she felt comfortable enough going to his home. If facts would have been presented that maybe he started being nicer or maybe he was still being mean and she wanted to improve the relationship, I think that might help her. But just saying she went from one show to another and then all of a sudden she's back at his house 10 years later with no real explanation, although it may not cause the case to get dismissed, I don't like the way that the lawyers put this together. Let's not forget that the first incident happened towards the beginning of 2000 and the second incident happened in 2014. So maybe she forgot about the original SA, or maybe she really just thought he wanted to legitimately discuss business. Make sure y'all comment below and let me know what you think about this second meetup at Nigel's house. Third, Paula Abdul waited to what she thought was the last minute to file this lawsuit. While it was a bold move and it made headlines, it may reflect on a jury negatively that she waited till the absolute last minute to file her complaint and possibly could have missed her opportunity for justice. Luckily, the state has extended the deadline, so maybe that won't affect her as much if this goes to trial. But I think it's definitely something to look at as more of a strategic thing rather than completely just trying to get justice. Lastly, the complaint would have had more viability if it would have included a little bit more facts rather than the general claims that he bullied and harassed her and he did this to other people. More information on the actual bullying and harassment could have made this a clad iron complaint. While I do think that she pleaded enough to state a claim, I definitely believe that the complaint could have been stronger. Don't forget to comment below what you think, and if you want to see the full reading of the facts of the complaint, make sure you check out the video in the description box.